Hello everybody, today I'm going to sell some of the horses that I have in my for sale farm, and I thought this would be a really good opportunity to talk about how I price my horses. Unfortunately though, there isn't a step-by-step guide on how to price your horses because value and worth, they're very much opinion based and they vary from player to player. The best example I can give for this is when I buy retired coats. There's been a few times where I've paid a lot more for a retired coat that has, let's just say, over 200 copies than one with less than 200 copies. And usually that was due to it being a coat by a creator whose style I loved, and I didn't want to risk losing out on that coat and not seeing it in the sales again for like months on end. Like Robin Lara and Lizzie coats, those are my Achilles heels. I really love the style of those creators, so I'll often pay a lot more for those coats just because of how much I like them. Now, someone else might not pay as much for those coats just because they aren't as rare in terms of number of copies, at least not all of them. And this is also why I don't really like to price other players' horses, because your particular horse that you're selling, it might not be very desirable for the particular breeding project I have going on at the time, but there could be somebody else out there who may want to pay more for it. So my suggestion whenever I see the question of how much should I sell my horse for is to go into the sales, look to see what horses similar to yours are priced at, and just make your decision based off of that. Remember, you can always go back in after a few days if the horse doesn't sell and lower the price if you want to, because once you sell it, you're done. That's it. You can't redo the price on it. Just, you can always start high and lower it over time if you need to. So since there really isn't a way to make a step-by-step guide on this is going to be more of a let's play as I price my horses. So let's go ahead and get started. How about we start with this horse here? This was just born, I think, yesterday. It's just a nab strupper. It's a unicorn fail. It's a nab strupper with few spots. Has really low GP for the server, 2000 GP. I'm basically just going to look at horses that are the same breed and coat color because it's not very desirable, I think, with its GP all that much. So we're going to look at nab struppers with a few spotted coats with few spots. That sounds weird. Okay, so a nab strupper, few spot coat. I'm also going to search with my pass search equals 0 because I don't think most of these would go for passes at all. All right, now let's filter by the lowest price first. So we have a purebred nab strupper, same coat color. It has GP lower than mine and it's going for 17,000. This is the cheapest one. Then it goes up from there. There's only one page of these coats. You would kind of think that since there aren't very many of these in the sales, that the prices would be sky high, but they're kind of not, I don't think. Sometimes you'll have that. Sometimes you'll see like 4 horses in the sales and they're going for astronomical prices. Sometimes you'll see 3 horses in the sales and they're pretty low. It just kind of depends on what players are pricing their horses at. I'm just going to make a guess on this. I don't really care how much I got for it. I bred this horse myself, so it only cost me 100 That also might be something you want to think about in terms of how much do I want to sell my horse for? Is it one that I bought and do I want to make my money back on it? This one, it doesn't matter because I bred it myself. I'm just going to put it up for, how about 16,000? It's competitive, it's cheaper, it might be more desirable to somebody because it's a bit cheaper. Not really sure. Somebody might just buy it just to complete their coat trophies. You never know. So 16,000. If it doesn't sell, it doesn't sell. If it does sell, cool. All right. There's one there. Okay, next horse. Let's go for this one. This is another unicorn fail. Bay spotted blanket nab strupper, much lower GP. Bay spotted blanket. I don't think that one is a very rare coat color, is it? Bay spotted blanket. We'll find out. Okay, see, now this is an example of there's actually fewer of this particular coat color and breed in the sales, but the prices are much cheaper. Sometimes that happens. Like I said, it's very much opinion based. Sometimes you just don't know. All right, 10,000. We're gonna throw it in there for a little bit because you never know. Some player might come and they'll pick these horses up because they're so cheap. They'll wait till the prices go up and they'll sell them for higher. You never know. Mine has much lower GP than these. I'm just going to put it up for 15,000. I know it has much lower GP than these horses here. These aren't purebreds, but I had the GP on mine, so we're just going to put up for 15,000. Like I said, if it doesn't sell after a few days, I can go back in and I can lower the price. 2, 3. Now, you also might think too, you might go into the breed directories and you might look to see what percentage or rarity that coat color is based on the breed. Like the bay spotted blanket is 2%. So you might automatically think, oh man, that's a 2% coat. I can get a lot of money from that. I don't often make my decision based on the directories because, like this kind of shows here, just because it is a rare coat color, the prices are really cheap. It's just not very high in demand right now, and players aren't wanting that coat for whatever reason. This is just me personally. Maybe a lot of players might make their decision based off from kind of the statistics in the directories. I don't personally, but if you want to, that's perfectly fine. And also, you might think some of these horses, like the prices I'm putting, you might think, oh my gosh, why are you pricing them so low? Or, on the other end of the spectrum, oh my gosh, why are you pricing them so high? That's okay. I'm not really concerned about it. All of these, I bred them myself, so it doesn't really bother me. I'm going to make a profit either way. Okay, this is like an extra pass horse that I had. I knew it was a rare coat color, so after I bred those pass horses, I often will take out the ones that have the rare coat colors and I'll put them in my for sale farm and I'll sell them after a while. So this is a crossbred, really low GP. It's a black Overo Chincoteague pony. We're just going to look at Chincoteague ponies. How about we do this? Pony, Chincoteague, black Overo. Mine's definitely going to be lowest in terms of GP. Okay, now when this happens, I'm pretty sure there are other black Overo Chincoteague ponies. I'm going to cancel the search and I'm going to redo it because it might have just been something going on with the system. Or I might have had something else in there in the search at the time that it was throwing it off. So we're going to redo it here. Whoops. Chincoteague pony, black Overo. Ah, no passes. That one's definitely not going to sell for a pass. Okay, there we go. That fixed it. Okay, so the cheapest black Overo Chincoteague pony is a purebred with much lower GP than mine at almost 40,000 equus. I'm just going to price my horse around that amount. There's quite a few in here. I'm going to price mine for lower, actually. How about 36,000? I often guess. There's nothing wrong with guessing. Like I said, I bred all these myself, so I'm going to make a profit anyway. It doesn't really bother me. Okay, I'm going to catch this aging point. Give me an aging point. Yay. Okay, for sale. Now, what other ones? Now, if you noticed, I do have a couple in here. I have like 3 Carmelo Chincoteague ponies. I think I mentioned this in my flipping pass horses video, that if I have a bunch of like the same type of horses, I'll only sell a few at a time because I don't want to flood the market with the same type of horse, because if you've got 3 in there, oh, there's 3 of them. That'll drive the prices down because supply and demand. If there's a bunch of them in supply, the price is going to go down because there's plenty for all. I'm just going to sell one of these for now. Let's open that one, and that one. That's okay. So this one here, I know they're all going to be crossbreds because they're products of my pass horse farm. This is well, I know they're all Chincoteague ponies. Okay, 1100 GP. This one is 900 GP. That is really low. Okay, and this one is, again, 900 GP. So I'll just sell this one, the highest GP. Okay. Carmelo Chincoteague pony. Okay, the cheapest Carmelo Chincoteague pony is cheaper than that, is about 42,000. This one is a purebred, 1600 GP, so its GP is higher than mine. I'm just going to throw out a price of, how about 35,000? It's a little full. Now, you also might take into account items that your horse has, the age. Just because this horse here, let's say this horse was 10 years old, but, the stats and everything else are the same, it was just older, it would definitely go for a bit more because it's closer to that pass horse age. Unfortunately, these are just foals. I should probably age them up a bit while they're just sitting here, but I just can't be bothered. 35,000, that works for me. Okay. Do I have any more that would be a good example? I think these are all strawberry roan Chincos. Because pretty much, like I said, these are all crossbreed horses, really low GP. They're mostly just valuable, I would think, for players who are looking to complete their trophy collection. Let's see, do I have my objectives? These here are ones that I've been saving for that's why I call it the objectives tab. Most of these are Pegasus horses. Once I dewing de-wing. Once I take the wings off of them, if I need to, I'll sell them because a couple of these have companions. Let's look at this one. This one doesn't have a companion, but this is a Gypsy Vanner, Pegasus, Dark Bay Toby. I'm not going to sell this one, but let's just price this one as an example. This one is also a crossbred. It has really low GP, especially for Gypsy Vanners on the international server. They're up to like 10,000 by now, but it's a Pegasus. So let's check this out. Now, this is an example of a species that I tend to keep an eye on in the marketplace because, like Pegasus, Immortals, those are usually always in demand, whether for objectives or people want them for their aging point farms or in regards to immortal horses at any rate. But the Pegasus one, players might want them for objectives that ask them to take the wings off a Pegasus horse and they don't feel like donating an item instead. So I'll often like look in the sales to see what the cheapest Pegasus horses are going for, immortals, pass horses. Keep an eye on the market because then, like, let's just say right now we know that, okay, for example, let's just say that all the Pegasus horses are typically going for 65,000. Then let's say one day you go into the sales and on the very first page, you don't even input anything and you see a Pegasus going for 30,000. You think, okay, I know that I've been looking at the sales. The cheapest Pegasus horses lately have been going for about 60, 65,000. That one's 30,000. I can just put that back up in the sales for a higher price and make some money off of it. So that would be one that you would grab. I think I'm just going to keep an eye on this one, but I think I would probably price this Pegasus here about the same. Well, this one has much higher GP, so maybe a little bit lower because it's mostly just valuable as a Pegasus horse. So maybe about 50,000, 55. If you want to price it higher, you can very much do that. So that's just kind of a very, very rough example of how I go about pricing my horses. As you can see, my method is very much just guess, hope it sells, hope you didn't price it too cheap. If you want to, you can also put your horses up in the auctions because sometimes players will bid each other up. You never know. Sometimes I don't have the best luck with that, and the price that I put it at, hoping I'll get more, I don't get more. I don't get as much as I was hoping, and then it ends up selling for kind of cheap, and I wish I just put it up in the direct sales. Anyway, hopefully that gave you a bit of an idea of how you can do it. I know the horses in particular I used, I was just basing their prices based off on their coat color and breed because none of them were blupped. They weren't older, so it was a bit harder to give an example for that. But hopefully that was helpful for you guys. Thank you for joining me today, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.